Peter and Miles were both heirs to their family's vast fortune. Now Peter was willing to put in the hard work and do what his father asked day in and day out.
Whew, that was some busy day of crime fighting, but I know I'm getting better. I know soon I'll be ready to take over for my father and rule Wakanda. But I have to make sure that I'm doing it the right way.
Miles wasn't really interested in working hard. He spent his days dreaming of running off to far-off places.
Peter, dude, why are you so tightly wound? You're such a weirdo. Why do you work so hard anyway? Dad's got it covered. We can just chill.
So instead of waiting for his inheritance, Miles decided to try and take a shortcut. He demanded his inheritance from his father early.
Father, give me my share of your estate now. Now? Yeah, that's right, now. I'm tired of taking orders from you. I want to be out on my own.
When Miles demanded his cut of the family inheritance from his father, to his surprise, his father granted his request.
Really? This is all mine? Woohoo! Party! So long, suckers. I'm gonna take this money and run!
Once Miles had his money, he took off, leaving his father and his brother behind. Peter hated to see what Miles' thoughtless actions did to their father. He was deeply hurt by Miles' request and the rejection of his son.
I wonder whatever happened to that worthless brother of mine. Probably squandered all the money anyway. So short-sighted. Never cared about anybody but himself.
Miles wasted no time spending his inheritance. He threw huge parties and invited glamorous people to hang out with him all the time. And while Miles was out doing whatever he wanted, spending money like crazy, Peter was home working faithfully day in and day out for his dad.
I've got to train so I'm ready to fight all that crime out there and keep the family business going.
In no time, Miles had spent all of the money that his father had given him. Eventually, Miles chose to come back home in hopes that his dad might give him a job because he couldn't find work elsewhere. He expected blame and punishment from his dad, but to his surprise, what he received when he got home was a warm welcome and forgiveness.
Wait, is that Dad? My son, you have returned!
But while this whole scene was playing out between Miles and his father, Peter was out working faithfully for his dad, protecting Wakanda.
Wait a minute. My spider sense is tingling. What's going on at the house? Didn't you hear? Your brother came back. Everyone thought he was dead and now he's home. My brother's back? Man, wasn't Father furious? No, actually, he got one of the rhinos and now we're having a feast. Everyone's having a party. Get up to the house. You have got to be kidding me. After all I've done with you.
Peter was so upset that he refused to even go inside and see his brother. He waited outside, pacing back and forth, frustrated that his dad could possibly welcome him back in. His father saw his son outside and walked out to talk to Peter, who stood there with his brow furrowed and his arms crossed.
Father, you have some explaining to do. After everything I've done for you, after all the sacrifices I've made, I stood by you.
Part of the reason that Peter was so angry is because Miles got to do whatever he wanted, while Peter was working faithfully at home, not asking for anything. It had been Peter that had to witness how Miles' selfish behavior had hurt their dad day in and day out. So Peter felt the need to remind their father of all the things that Miles had done wrong.
Meanwhile, my worthless brother demands his inheritance early, which you gave him. Then he goes off and squanders it all. Then crawls back here. And what do? You treat it like it didn't even happen. Then you give him a feast. What if I wanted a feast with one of my friends? You never did that for me. It's like I don't even matter to you.
Peter made a lot of good points, but nothing could take away his father's joy from having his lost son home. He tried to help Peter understand that the only way to move forward was to forgive Miles.
My son, don't you understand? Everything I have, all of Wakanda, is yours. It's true. Your brother did leave, but now he is back, and that is cause for much rejoicing. We must forgive him, put his mistakes behind him, and love him because we are family.
What the father wanted Peter to understand was that nothing Miles had done could stop him from loving and forgiving his son. Even though Peter had served faithfully and Miles had squandered everything, the difference was that the love of the Father was too much to stop forgiveness. He recognized that Peter was faithful, but that faithfulness didn't mean Miles had to not be forgiven. Because forgiveness isn't fairness. There's a big difference between those 2 points. While there are plenty of times that you and I want to see somebody punished, maybe it's a brother or a sister or someone who's doing something and you know it's wrong and you just want to tell somebody. God sees it differently. God chooses to forgive us even though we all deserve punishment. That's his nature. And if we want to hang on to our resentment and our need for justice, what happens is that we miss out on the blessing of forgiving someone else who needs it.